With all of the social media content, YouTube videos, podcasts, TikToks, every once in a while, actually quite often recently, I've been getting comments about how I'm killing the industry, that I'm creating more competition and gurus are killing everything. I'm ruining everything by creating free content and teaching people the tips, tricks, strategies to be able to build financial freedom. The complaint is, if I teach these strategies and people start to use them and find success from them, then what will happen is these strategies will produce less and less success as more people implement them. Meaning I'm creating my own competition and competition for the people that already understand and are already using these strategies to make money. These people that are complaining on my social media platforms are people that have a deep-rooted belief that if other people have financial success, that will equal less success for themselves. Not only is this completely false, but I believe this is the same mindset that creates segregation and contentment between races, religions, and different nationalities. And not only that, it is truly a threat to the health of our economics within our cities, our states, our country, and the world. I'm creating this video with the sheer purpose of completely destroying any doubt in your mind that there is an absolute abundance in this world. There is abundance. You will see it, you will find it, and you will achieve it if you stick with me in this video. Everyone, this content, this YouTube channel is set up 100% for you to find financial freedom. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you do not miss out on a single video that could put millions of dollars in your pocket. About 10 years ago, I served a 2-year Christian mission in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I learned Portuguese. I saw poverty for the first time, true poverty. Remember the first area that I went to, I served in an area called Vila dos Pescadores, which is directly translated to Village of Fishermen. And it was essentially a massive ghetto that was all on stilts above tide water on this tidal river. And they were just wood shacks, metal roofs, plank wood floors with cracks. You could see the sewage water below. All of their fecal matter, sewage was through a hole in their floor. There was sheets to try and separate rooms out. Mattresses leaned up against the walls inside. Electricity just zigzagging all over the place. Their gas was just, the gas stoves with the propane tank. There was wood plank walkways in between these shacks. You would walk into one of the shacks and the cockroaches would run underneath the planks and their trash would just go out their window and there's trash floating up and down in the water and rats jumping on top of the trash. And I was terrified walking, being this big American walking on these planks, thinking that the wood plank might break, these old rotted out pieces of wood, worried that they would break and I would fall into this water, this diseased, infested water. And, the living conditions were horrible. But the worst part was the crime that I saw that went with the poverty. As you would walk into this ghetto, you would go up over these big cement walkways over the freeway and onto this dirt flat. And there was a few bars and stuff. And then there was these little alleyways that went back over the tidal water. At the entrances of these alleyways, there was people with assault rifles and shotguns. There was kids on top of the buildings. I mean, these are teenage kids from 12 to 16 years old. With walkie-talkies and pistols in their back belt loop, and guns are outlawed there. It was pretty insane. And as you walked back in these alleys, and they knew we were just missionaries, we were just trying to help the community. No one messed with us. We'd walk back, and I saw things the very first day on the mission. That's where I was, and I went back to be fed by one of the members of the church that lived there. She was feeding us. And I remember feeling so guilty that she was feeding me. It made me sick and I was vomiting after we left, and I ate it and was grateful, but it made me very sick. And I was in a little hut with a metal roof. It was like 120 degrees in there. And I saw There was shacks with prostitutes lined up, and there was people sitting on a board, and there was drugs, gun, and money in front of them. And I saw poverty like I had never seen. As I was leaving this ghetto, I saw these little kids playing. The oldest maybe 7, 8, and the youngest in diapers, maybe 2, 3, I don't know. And they were passing around a beer, and they passed it to the youngest one in his diapers. And he drank it and started coughing and gagging and throwing up the beer. And the older boys were laughing. And I remember I just started sobbing and I started crying. And it was a very emotional moment in my life, and something that will stick with me the rest of my life. And the reason I share this story with you is in that moment, I promised myself that I would take advantage of the lottery that I won, the lottery of being born where I was born, with the parents that I was born with, and the opportunities that were mine just because of how, of something that I did not earn. And I promised that I would take advantage of that and that I would make a difference. And not only would I make a difference in my life, as I would make a difference in as many lives as I possibly could. I promised that I would have financial freedom to not just blow my money, but to make a difference. And I promised that I would create financial freedom for as many people as I could. And I promised myself that I would find a way to help people that were born into a place where there was no economy and no chance of success. What life did those children have in front of them? The only economy that was available was the organized crime that owned that ghetto. My name is Zack Boothe, and I have made it my personal responsibility, my personal mission to change people's financial lives. I believe that everyone can have their cake and eat it too in this life. What I mean is you can have fulfillment, joy, and peace and still have financial freedom. I want to know from you in the comments below, do you believe that people can have both financial freedom and have fulfillment regardless of where you were born and what opportunities life handed you, not by your choosing? Let me know in the comments below. Hello, my wonderful audience. Just so you know, this content is a little heavier than I normally produce because I'm extremely passionate and I really want to get this point across, and I really want to help you guys and make a difference. And I know that I only can do that by encouraging each one of you guys to make a difference. So let's dive in.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Slavery ended in 1865 in the United States, but still the black men and women of this country were facing an uphill battle. Many of the white politicians were creating laws and regulations to keep the black men and women, my brothers and sisters of this country, in poverty and from having the same opportunities that others enjoyed. Some of these laws and regulations that were passed, and not even just limiting to these are just some of the main ones. There was segregation, so they were sent off to live in areas that didn't have as much economy because their neighbors didn't make a lot of money. So there wasn't money churning within those neighborhoods. So segregation was a way to keep them from finding financial success. They took away their rights to vote. Many of the jobs that the black men and women were qualified to take, like working in the fields and waiting tables, were regulated so that you did not have to pay minimum wage for those professions. And still to this day, those professions, you do not have to pay minimum wage. There's been many religions, many races, many people, and many countries where similar things have happened. Why? Why do people do this to other people? Was it just blind hate? Or was it something deeper? Was it a deeper issue? I don't believe that it was that simple. I believe that it was a deeper sickness, a deeper problem, and hate was just a symptom. I believe the root sickness was the concept or the mindset of scarcity. I believe that the same fear of a stranger, an outsider, someone of a different race, someone from a different nationality, if they can come in and have success in my country or our country or whoever or however you identify yourself, if they come in and have success, that will equal less success for me and for my family and my friends. Out of the desire of self-preservation and preservation of one's wealth and success, they believed that they needed to keep these strangers down and keep these strangers submissive and poor for them to hold on to their wealth and their power and their influence. I believe that scarcity has the power to push people to do such horrible things. I believe the root of a lot of the hate and bigotry that we face comes from a position of scarcity. The opposite of scarcity is abundance. I want to talk to you about how abundance can not only add value to yourself, but others around us, that we can build each other up, that we can all have more when our neighbor has more. I want to show you how having an abundance of mindset can truly change your life, our neighbor's life, our cities, our state, our country, and the world. There's a fantastic book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and one of the things that it teaches is how money grows magically. And I want to read this paragraph to you guys and teach this concept. It says, wealth grows wherever men exert energy. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No. The brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it, and everyone who labors upon the house has part of it. Yet when the palace is completed, is it not worth all its costs? And is the ground upon which it stands not worth more because it is there? And is the ground that adjoins it not worth more because it is there? Wealth grows in magic ways. No man can prophesy the limit. Have not the Phaeacians built great cities on barren coasts with the wealth that comes from their ships of commerce on the seas? The concept is what it is teaching is money grows magically. If one business where you live starts doing really well and exceeding and succeeding, and there's money coming in from all over the place, well, then that business then needs more employees, and they need to pay out more, and it's growing and expanding, and those that work for the company have more money. And since they have more money, they spend more money, and all of the neighboring business succeed. So if one business in one city succeeds, the city starts to succeed. And if that city then succeeds, well, then that state will start to succeed. And if that state succeeds, well, then the country will start to succeed, right? And if each city has a new little business, like if we all work towards having success, if more and more of our neighbors have more success and more wealth, it creates a snowball effect. It creates an economic growth. It creates more opportunities for all people. And all of us are connected all across the world. And the internet has just made the world a smaller place. There is becoming less and less physical boundaries because of how possible it is to connect and work together and be united on more of a level than we ever have been able to be in the existence of the world. If you are liking anything that I'm saying and you would like to have more people see this and grow and learn, and if you would like your neighbor to be more successful, make sure you hit that like button so YouTube will promote this to other people. Make sure you hit that like button. Not only do I understand that if I teach my neighbor how to build wealth and hold on to wealth and have success, they'll have more money and everything around them will succeed, and it'll equal more success for myself long term. It'll equal success and more opportunity and success for my children and great grandchildren and everyone down the line, right? It'll be a better future for all people. Not only that, I believe it's the right thing to do. I believe that there's a purpose in life beyond living and dying. I believe that it is a responsibility that when we have success and we have good things, that we pay it forward and help others. I believe that we are wired as human beings, that when we do things for other people, we feel good, right? We get a helper's high, right? I love to teach, and I feel so wonderful when I do. On my mission, when I saw the poverty and I saw the situation that these wonderful people with huge hearts and were so kind and good to me, I fell in love with the Brazilian people, so much so that I married a Brazilian girl. And I have a bunch of people that work for me that are Brazilians, and I sponsor people and help immigrants because I understand the struggles that they deal with. One of the things that I love about social media and YouTube and podcasts is it's allowed me to cross borders that I couldn't cross before, right? I'm able to make an impact in areas that have economic depression because there is no existing wealth. The internet has allowed me to cross those borders and teach and give action steps and give ways to people to find success where I wouldn't have had that before. I want to use my platforms to build wealth magically, to help people, to help as many people as I can. Right? I have content on washing windows and how to make $100 a day. I have how to start a new business. I took $1,000 and went to a whole new market and made 93 grand in just 40 days, starting with $1,000 bucks. And I create all this content. Why? not to brag and to show you how smart and great I am, but I want to empower those that want to change their life. And I want to encourage each one of you, if you've found value from anything that I've taught, if you've made money from anything that you taught, you pay it forward, you teach someone else, you help your neighbor, right? Because we are all connected and economically, and then also, our happiness and our fulfillment comes from adding value to others. In summary, it's my belief that when we help other people find success, when other people around us find success, ultimately that equals more success for ourselves and it equals more success for our neighbors. The reason we are not finding success, or the reason you are not finding success, it is your fault and 100% your fault alone. You need to take ownership for your situation and where you are at. But I promise you, if you work your butt off, if you learn strategies and action steps that are required and implement those action steps, you will have success and you will have opportunities to help other people along the way. And if you do those things, we will all have more. We will all have our cake and we will eat it too. One of the main things that I do is I teach people how to get started in real estate investing. I teach them how to do a strategy that's called real estate wholesaling. That's where you find deeply discounted opportunities. You find people that'll sell their house at a discount and you pass that opportunity off to a buy and hold investor or to a flipper for a finder's fee. You don't have to have a massive amount of money. I teach you guys how to do this by using a strategy that only requires your smartphone and your car. And like I said, I went and did it and I showed you guys how to do it. You can catch that video right here on how to do that challenge if you want to do it yourselves. But I also teach it. I also mentor people. And the way I do that is you have my personal cell phone. I work through the deals that you have. I help you when you have a deal on the line. We speak one-on-one. You also have direct access to a step-by-step video course that gives you the exact action steps in what order you need to implement them. So if you want to learn more about my coaching program, it's very easy. You just jump on the phone with us. So there's a link. I'm going to put it right here. There's also going to be in the show notes. It's dfdmastery.com/start now, right? That's the correct link. Start now. Yep. Okay. dfdmastery.com/start now. And you guys can jump on the phone with us. And like I said, catch the 40-day challenge if you haven't caught it yet. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you. And we'll catch you in the next video.